Today's video may not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. The night holds secrets. Upiór and Strigoi, vampiric legend. Ancient whispers tell of creatures that stalk the darkness. They crave blood. They hunger for life. These are the vampires of Eastern Europe, creatures of legend and nightmare. From the Carpathian Mountains to the vast Russian steppes, their stories have chilled hearts for centuries. We will journey now into the heart of these legends. Since I bought a book on vampires, as an 8-year-old visiting my grandmother in hospital, I have been fascinated with the myths of vampires. Today I want to speak about two ancient legends of vampires in Eastern Europe, predating Bram Stoker's Dracula, predating Vlad the Impaler, and possibly predating the written word. Prepare to face the darkness. Romania, land of mist-shrouded forests and ancient castles, where the air is thick with legends and the past never truly dies. It is here we find the Strigoi, restless souls who return from the grave, unable to find peace in the afterlife. They are driven by an insatiable thirst for the life essence of the living, haunting the night in search of their next victim. Unlike the elegant vampires of modern fiction, Strigoi are often described as grotesque figures, their appearance a twisted parody of humanity. Their faces are twisted in a mockery of life, their bodies bloated and corrupt, a horrifying sight to behold. They cast no reflection, a chilling reminder of their undead state, forever trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead. These creatures prey on the living, draining their blood and spreading terror throughout the villages, leaving a trail of fear and death in their wake. Protection from the Strigoi involves garlic, holy water, and other ancient rituals passed down through generations. Sometimes even driving a stake through the heart is necessary to ensure they never rise again. The Strigoi are more than just monsters. They are a reflection of the anxieties of a people who lived in constant fear of disease, famine, and invasion. Their stories a way to make sense of the unknown. In a world where death was a constant companion, the Strigoi served as a terrifying reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that lay beyond, a symbol of the ever-present fear of the unknown. Across the vast expanse of Slavic folklore, another name strikes terror: the Upiór. These creatures are deeply embedded in the cultural fabric of Eastern Europe, their tales passed down through generations. These creatures, similar to the Strigoi, are animated corpses with a taste for blood. They rise from their graves, driven by an insatiable hunger that can only be quenched by the blood of the living. The Upiór, however, possess their own unique characteristics and lore. Unlike other vampires, their stories are filled with distinct regional variations, each adding a layer of complexity to their terrifying legend. They are often described as having a ruddy complexion, swollen features, and sharp teeth ready to tear into their victims. Their appearance alone is enough to instill fear, but their abilities make them even more formidable. Unlike some vampire lore, the Upiór are not always confined to the night. They can walk among the living during the day, disguised as ordinary people, making them even more insidious and difficult to detect. This ability to blend in adds to the pervasive fear they inspire. They can walk among the living during the day, disguised as ordinary people, making them even more insidious and difficult to detect. Their ability to seamlessly transition between human and monster makes them a constant threat. The Upiór, like the Strigoi, are believed to be created through various means. These methods are often shrouded in mystery and steeped in ancient rituals, adding to the enigmatic nature of these creatures. Often they are those who died under unusual circumstances, such as a violent death, suicide, or excommunication from the church. These tragic ends are thought to trap their souls, preventing them from finding peace. The fear of becoming an Upiór was so great that people took elaborate precautions to prevent it, such as burying the dead face down, placing poppy seeds around graves, or even driving nails through the hands and feet of the deceased. These measures were believed to keep the Upiór from rising and wreaking havoc. These rituals highlight the very real terror that the Upir held over these communities. The lengths to which people would go to protect themselves from these creatures underscore the deep-seated fear and respect they commanded in Slavic culture. Echoes of the past, tracing the roots of legends. These stories have been whispered through the ages, carried on the winds of time and etched into the very fabric of our history. So where did these chilling tales originate? What is the source of these spine-tingling stories that have captivated our imaginations for centuries? The origins of the Strigoi and Upir are shrouded in the mists of time. These mythical creatures have roots that delve deep into the ancient folklore of Eastern Europe. They likely predate written history, passed down orally from generation to generation. These stories were shared around campfires, in hushed whispers, and through the art of storytelling. Some scholars believe that these legends may have been inspired by real-life phenomena. The line between reality and myth often blurs, especially in times when scientific understanding was limited. For example, the decomposition process of a body, particularly in the days before modern embalming, could lead to bloating, blood seeping from the mouth, and other changes that might have been perceived as signs of life after death. These natural processes could easily be misinterpreted as evidence of the undead. This, combined with a lack of scientific understanding of disease and death, could easily have fueled beliefs in the undead. Fear and superstition often filled the gaps left by a lack of knowledge. Furthermore, the folklore surrounding the Strigoi and Upir often served a social function. These tales were more than just stories. They were tools for teaching and maintaining social order. These tales reinforced societal norms and beliefs, acting as cautionary tales. They were a way to instill values and warn against behaviors that were considered dangerous or immoral. For instance, the belief that those who lived wicked lives were more likely to become vampires served as a deterrent against immoral behavior. It was a way to encourage people to live virtuous lives. Similarly, the emphasis on proper burial rites highlighted the importance of respecting the dead and the rituals surrounding death. These practices ensured that the community remained connected to their ancestors and upheld traditions that were vital to their cultural identity. Exploring the historical context, were these creatures real? Did they truly walk among us? While the existence of literal vampires is highly unlikely, the historical context in which these legends flourished cannot be ignored. During the Middle Ages, Europe was ravaged by plagues, wars, and famine. Death was a constant companion, and fear of the unknown was pervasive. In such an environment, it's not surprising that beliefs in the supernatural, including vampires, would take root and spread. Moreover, there are documented cases of people being accused of vampirism and subjected to horrific punishments. These accusations were often rooted in fear, ignorance, and sometimes even used to settle personal scores or eliminate rivals. While these cases don't prove the existence of vampires, they do highlight the very real terror that these beliefs inspired. For more myth, legends, history, and philosophy, subscribe to Harness Ancient Wisdom.